I am ready now.
Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan. Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
And what can we expect?
Surprises!
Engineered by Jay Timko and produced by Eric Beatty. And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Detroit Cast. I'm Mike, that's Jay. Eric is in front of me there, Timko to the left. How you doing, Jay? You feeling any better?
A little better than yesterday.
Yeah, I feel like shit now, so thank you.
Your throat's starting to feel a little sore.
A little tingly.
Yeah.
I knew better than to go to the doctor, though.
It's nothing.
Not that I can afford it anyways.
It's nothing. It'll pass.
Yeah. I don't feel that bad, but a little tinge of it. I was like, oh, he got me, that son of a bitch.
Just start loading up on vitamin C.
Yeah, that's not a bad call. Anyway, it is the Wednesday edition of the Detroit Cast, and lots to get to today, including some interesting stuff involving the World Cup and what's going on there. It's being received quite well by the American public, no shock there. A stupid, I guess criminals by nature are dumb, but this one...
Some remarkably dumb ones.
Yeah, they always crack me up. The KFC story, interesting as well. I don't know if did we do that the other day about the girl in the restaurant who had the dog bite?
Nope.
Yeah. We'll get into all that. I don't know. This kind of smelled odd to me, so it doesn't surprise me with the update story we'll have today. Also, a scene right out of Fargo took place today, and we'll explain that shortly here. But why don't we start with someone who, as far as Hollywood goes and apologies go, I think this gentleman is going to be next in line on the apology circuit. I fear. I hope not. But I don't know if you've seen the Playboy interview.
I didn't see the interview, but I saw kind of snippets of what happened to Gary Oldman.
For those that aren't aware, Playboy actually has words in them at times, including interviews. I know, Eric, you wouldn't have known about this, but there are actually more than just some pictures. And every month they do an interview, and usually those interviews they're pretty good. They tend to, just because it's Playboy, people tend to open up more and say what's really on their mind. And Gary Oldman is the latest. He's the newest interview in this month's Playboy, and he gave some comments that are going to upset plenty of people, I'm sure. He was
Before you go forward, though,
yeah.
What is he best known for, do you think?
He's
in
Batman.
Yeah, I always think of him in what is he, Chief O'Hara or something?
Yeah.
In Batman. And
yes.
Then,
also he's in
that
Planet of the Apes movies too.
That Third Element movie that's on TBS every 5 minutes with Bruce Willis. Fifth Element. Third Element. Fifth Element. He's the weird bad guy in that. Super weird character.
Well, it's funny that you even mentioned that, because he's someone by name I don't automatically picture. You say Leo DiCaprio and everybody gets an image. They know what Leonardo looks like. And most actors, Gary Oldman is not someone where you don't know who he is or what he looks like. He's well known, but definitely it's someone like
trying to put him into movies, and it's weird. I think he was Dracula back in the day.
Oh, was he?
He's just been in a ton of stuff.
He's been in a ton of... If you looked at his IMDb, you'd probably surprise yourself just how much he's been in. But part of the things, he's kind of on the same rant that we are, or I am especially. I don't want to put words in your guys' mouth, but the rant I've been on for a long time about political correctness and how far it's going. But these guys walk a different line than we do. We're the slum of the entertainment industry in radio, so... they don't care what we say. But for people like him, defending people like Mel Gibson and Alec Baldwin, immediately he would know that you're going to be labeled as a racist or whatever. But it's nice to see someone who just doesn't care. And it sounds like...
It sounded like he didn't care, but it also sounds like maybe he does. Or maybe his publicist does.
Maybe. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. It sounded like someone who couldn't hold back. Yeah. From what I'm reading, it was like it didn't take much to prod him into, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? And he had it lined up, and he was like ready to go with a rant about this world we're living in, and he just mentioned Mel Gibson, financing his own movies, and he didn't understand why he would do that, but it gives you this freedom, kind of like what we're doing here. By financing things ourselves, it means you're not answering to anybody. So the Playboy interviewer picks up on that and goes, Mel Gibson? Which is all it took. And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, what do you think about what he's gone through these past few years? And then he's off. And so they say Gary's kind of fidgeting in his seat like, oh, boy, do I really want to go down here? But he ends up saying, I just think political correctness is crap. That's what I think about it. I think it's like, take a fucking joke. Get over it. I heard about a science teacher who was teaching that God made the earth and God made everything, and that if you believe anything else, you're stupid. A Buddhist kid in the class got very upset about this, so his parents went in and are suing the school. The school is changing its curriculum. I thought, all right, go to the school and complain about it, and then that's the end of it. But they're going to sue? No one can take a fucking joke anymore. I don't know about Mel. He got drunk and said a few things, but we've all said those things. We're all fucking hypocrites. That's what I think about it. The policeman who arrested him has never used the word nigger or that fucking Jew. I'm being brutally honest here. It's the hypocrisy of it that drives me crazy. Or maybe I should strike that and say the N word and the F word, though there are 2 F words now. The 3-letter one, the interviewer asks, Alec calling someone an FAG in the street while he's pissed off coming out of his building because they won't leave him alone. I don't blame him. So they persecute. Mel Gibson's in a town that's run by Jews, and he said the wrong thing because he's actually bitten the hand that I guess has fed him and doesn't need to feed him anymore because he's got enough dough. He's like an outcast, a leper, But some Jewish guy in his office somewhere hasn't turned and said, that fucking Kraut or fuck those Germans, whatever it is. We all hide and try to be so politically correct. That's what gets me. It's just the sheer hypocrisy of everyone that we all stand on this thing going, isn't that shocking? All right, shall I stop talking now? What else can we discuss? So he can feel like, oh, boy, I probably said something I shouldn't have here. But
this probably occurred before Jonah Hill, because he probably would have commented on that, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, probably. I wonder, I don't know how far in advance they do these interviews. They seem relatively recent. But, yeah, you're probably right. It was probably just before the Jonah Hill thing that they would have done this interview. I got to say, though, man, I think he's 100% right. I don't, so far anyways, I don't disagree. The only thing that jumps out at me is when he's talking about the town run by Jews. Anytime you start singling out groups, which is what our boy is famous for. Yes.
Yeah.
The Jews. How the Jews do that. Like, he really puts people in a box.
Yeah, whenever he describes a person, it's, my granddaughter went to her Christian nursery.
Yeah.
Her Catholic nursery.
And he does it for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the German lady who's my therapist and the doctor, the black one. Everybody's got a box for everybody, which is funny, but it'll get you in trouble. And so he says, well, what else? Shall I stop talking now? What else can we discuss? Kind of like, enough. And the guy just says, what do you think about the Pope? And he just jumps in, oh, fuck the Pope. Clearly going for the joke, obviously. So this interview has gone very badly. You have to edit and cut half of what I've said because it's going to make me sound like a bigot. The guy says, you're not a bigot? No, but I'm defending all the wrong people. I'm saying Mel's all right. Alec's a good guy. So how do I come across? Angry? Passionate, certainly. Readers will have to form their own opinions. He says, Oldman says, it's dishonesty that frustrates me most. I can't bear double standards. It gets under my skin more than anything. Can I tell you what else I'm frustrated about? The interviewer says, go for it. You're on a roll. He says, more and more people in this culture are able to hide behind comedy and satire to say things we can't ordinarily say because it's all too politically correct. Do you have something in mind? Well, if I called Nancy Pelosi a cunt, and I'll go one better, a fucking useless cunt, I can't really say that, but Bill Maher and Jon Stewart can, and nobody's going to stop them.
But those two never would.
Yeah, they would. I think
Nancy Pelosi.
Well, maybe not Nancy herself, but
exactly.
they would use those words in describing someone.
Of a Republican, right?
Right. But nobody's going to stop them from working because of it. Bill Maher could call someone a fag and get away with it. He said to Seth MacFarlane this year, I thought you were going to do the Oscars again. Instead, they got a lesbian. He can say something like that. Is it more or less offensive than Alec Baldwin saying to someone on the street, you fag? I don't get it. You see it as a double standard. It's our culture now, absolutely. At the Oscars, if you didn't vote for 12 Years a Slave, you were a racist. You have to be very careful about what you say. I do have particular views and opinions that most of this town doesn't share, but it's not like I'm a fascist or a racist. There's nothing like that in my history. Yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about, and I honestly, I agree with him 100%.
Yeah, good for him for speaking his mind.
Yeah, what are you looking for?
Isn't there a follow-up to that, though? Didn't this publicist kind of...
Yeah. Boy, he really is excuse me, one of those guys that's able to change his look.
Yeah.
Depending on the role.
Yeah, and that's why I thought of that Fifth Element movie. He looks really weird in that.
And the Dracula one you mentioned, whatever that movie was, Timko had a picture of up of it, and he looks completely different than he does as the police commissioner. Commissioner Gordon, is it? Yeah.
So here's some follow-up. Oldman's longtime manager said in an emailed statement to the Associated Press on Tuesday that the actor finds any kind of bigotry unacceptable and disgraceful.
Of course,
Oldman was criticizing hypocrisy instead of defending his fellow actors. In this interview, Gary is doing what many intelligent people do. He's illustrating the absurd by being absurd. So you can feel even his manager is like, oh, fuck, let's make sure we frame this right so that it's not misunderstood.
And I completely agree with what his manager is saying. That's true. That's exactly what they're doing. He's not saying Mel Gibson's views are absolutely correct. I agree with him.
Yeah.
He's not saying that about Alec Baldwin. What he's saying is, hey, don't act like, let's be honest with ourselves, everybody. Are you saying you've never called someone a fag on the playground? Stop it. Stop acting like you're shocked at the word faggot or the N-word or anything else. Stop putting yourself up on your soapbox and acting like everybody who we could possibly call out for saying something offensive is something that we're not all.
It's just ironic, though, that the manager even has to kind of get out ahead of this and frame it this way. You know what I mean? Because you know what's going to happen, right? If it's not, he's going to be pigeonholed. Oh, he loves Alec. He loves everything he said. He loves Mel. He's a bigot. He's a racist.
Do you see the apology train coming anyways?
I don't think so.
No? See, I do. I think it's such a sensitive world we're in right now that...
Sounds like he's dug in, though.
Good. I hope so. Because honestly, I think the reality
he's a
is
smart enough guy who thought it through and went with it. I agree that he was sort of off the cuff a little bit, like, all right, I'm ready for a rant here, but it sounds like he's thought this through. Well,
it sounds like someone who, just like we could go off and have that same rant, we've had that same rant, especially me, many, many times on this very show. He's probably had that same discussion with friends many times, and so he's got that view and perspective, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I think, in fact, I would even say that the majority of people out there probably have that exact same view, but people just go, whatever, it doesn't involve me today, so they just don't say anything, and it's a hard thing to defend. How do you get up in front of a, excuse me, can I have everyone's attention, please? Mel Gibson should be able to say whatever he wants. Who cares? Like, it's hard to defend that.
Yeah, it's very much the minority view, and it's against this all-inclusive sort of attitude that we're all supposed to have right now.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how diametrically different that is from what Jonah Hill did, right? Because Jonah felt the pressure, and he went, holy shit, my whole career is in the balance right now. I've got to come out and apologize to the planet.
And he felt that pressure inside. That was before it even was a story, wasn't it?
Well, he probably felt the pressure with his handlers. I'm sure his handlers were like, Jonah, oh my God, what did you do?
Well,
we got to get out in front of this.
He knew the fact was that guy had been tailing him all day and was prodding and poking him. So he knew there was no way that wasn't going to come out and be a story.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember if that clip of him saying, what did he call him, a faggot? Is that what it was? If that clip was out before he went on the apology tour, or if he jumped out in front of it, and it was like the same day where I said something terrible. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter anyways. But it's just too bad. I in this country, it seems like when we were kids and growing up, like you always heard people talk about the First Amendment rights and the what, you never, like, thank God. I remember vividly people talking about it's, how would they say it? But it's your right to. I'll defend to the death your right to say it. I don't agree with what you say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it. And it seems like that all of a sudden has kind of folded away except if you say something offensive, which is the whole point to that statement. I don't have to agree with what you say.
Yeah.
No one's asking you to agree with it, but
there's never been speech without repercussion. You know, we talked about this a long time ago with the Dixie Chicks. They misunderstood that, oh, gee, I can say whatever I want and you need to accept it. No, the other side might disagree with you and not accept it, and they might, speak with their pocketbooks on that issue, and that's why we don't hear from the Dixie Chicks much anymore.
Well, that's a great point, and you're totally right about that. It doesn't mean that you're going to go to jail for it.
Yeah.
But here's where the difference comes. It used to be where, if you said something really offensive to your fan base, like the Dixie Chicks did, they would tell you they disapproved by not supporting your CD sales. They wouldn't buy your CD. They wouldn't buy concert tickets or T-shirts. They would vocalize it that way. And then if the press wants to come in and do a story and say, the Dixie Chicks said X, the result from their fan base was X, and so this is where we stand today. But instead what our media does, the Dixie Chicks said X, and then they blow it up and twist it around like it's the biggest sin on the planet, and they try to form a view like, you see it, here it was, they said blah, 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 it's poison, they're racist, and they're trying to prove this, like, make everybody have the same view that, those awful, awful people. Well, really? Okay, I guess if we're all supposed to be on that page that everybody's horrendous if they say anything like that. But the fact is, I would rather it just played out like it naturally would, where if people are truly offended, they won't go to your shows.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something I don't agree with, really, and I firmly believe that someone's a piece of shit, I'm not going to support them.
Mm-hmm.
That should be the end of it. And do you know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah, instead of like forcing everybody into certain political views, and if you don't have those, or if you don't have certain social views, then you're a complete pariah. And if you speak out, that's your right to speak out, but now you're a complete pariah.
Right. Yeah. And you see it in everything. Like, just talk about anything race related or the gay community. And just watch the room. Everyone, if I bring up a topic on like gay marriage or anything like that, I can literally look around at the three of you guys and see the horror on every one of your faces going, because in your head, and rightly so, you're going, okay, where the fuck is he going with this? Is this going to end this, blow this whole goddamn thing up? And it's just normal. And I could see it on anybody else's faces who have sat in these exact seats. And because it's just, it didn't used to be that way, but it is now. There's this natural, like, oh God, where are we going? How is this going to be spun? What is this going to look like? And it's frustrating. It's tough because it takes like a open dialogue, and it acts like there's no place for it. You can't even discuss race relations or how people really feel about gay marriage. How do people really feel? They don't want to tell you how they really feel because it's so easy to take those comments and go, you monster, you unaccepting monster.
Yeah,
you're living in the Stone Ages.
Yeah, if you're not deemed on the completely socially conscious side of things, then
Yeah.
you're wrong and you're backward and
Yeah.
living in the Stone Age.
It just and that's a scary place, I think, where everybody's faking it, like, oh yeah, no, I'm totally accepting, absolutely, whatever they want to do, cool, I'm all in, yep, everybody's equal, everybody's great, yep, I approve of everybody, hugs and love for everybody. It's like, well, okay, well then they just go into their own homes and have wild discussions about how they really feel. I just think it'd be better and probably move things along further if you just had those conversations, real conversations, in public. I don't think it's a bad thing. And I think there's a forum, and I think we do a good job of having that, forcing it right here. And I know it makes people uncomfortable at times. I don't care. Too bad. Fucking deal with it, Eric.
Whoa, what are you looking at me for? I am not.
But
I
kudos.
think I'm on your side probably more.
I'm kidding, dickhead. I know you are. Of anyone in the room, of course you are.
Kudos to a dude like Oldman, though, who's in that environment and is willing to speak out. Because you see his willingness to do that versus Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
And there ought to be, and there was real fear on Jonah's part that his career was going to take a dive because of that. And I think that was a very real possibility. I know you disagree with that to an extent.
Wholeheartedly, I disagree. But I think
it's
a lot of people agree with you, though. I do.
Yeah, because of who's controlling that city and that industry. But
well, I honestly think at the end of the day, those people that are running Hollywood that you're talking about that could make that decision. Also, more so than having principles and something that they believe in, and God forbid anybody say anything offensive to that, those people like the bottom end, the bottom line money they make, and they know that Jonah Hill is a bankable movie star. And so that for that reason alone, I don't think that they would ever, I just don't think there would have been any punishment for him at all. Now, I know I'm probably in the minority in believing that way. And Gary Oldman's an interesting one, because if those comments really are deemed offensive, which would be a joke in my opinion, but if they were, it'll be interesting, because he's made a point now and he stood up and said it. And yeah, he's a player in that Hollywood world.
He's a real actor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. And I could see he's not someone, unlike Jonah Hill, he's not someone that you could put up at the front as the A actor in something and go, okay, we've got Gary Oldman. It's a $100 million a bank we're talking about. Jonah Hill, you can legitimately say, we've got Jonah Hill leading this comedy. It's a bankable power this summer, right?
Yeah.
In a sense. So I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see if there's any fallout. You don't think there will be an apology coming? I think on some level there will be a stupid apology for that.
There might be further reframing, like his manager sort of did. Like, hey, everybody understand what he was doing. There might be more of that, but I don't think he's going to go back and say, you know what, I rethought this. I really want to retract. I don't think so.
Well,
sounded too ingrained.
Yeah, I think for sure his manager will keep doing the spin control, but I think even Gary himself will come out on some level and give one of those stupid, like, if I offended anybody, apologies, you know?
I don't know, man. It sounded too thought out, too ingrained.
I hope you're right.
And he's a guy, you know, he's far along in his career. Maybe he's willing to just go, F you guys, you know? I'm a real actor, and when you want a real actor, come call
me. You know? If not, I'll go back to Broadway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you may be right. I hope you're right. I hope you are. But he also, in this interview, he talks about kind of how he got on the subject of all this was in the fact that people like Mel have fuck you money, where they can just they've made theirs. They don't need Hollywood anymore, where he doesn't have that kind of money. Is kind of the difference he was trying to point out in, you know.
That's all relative.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you're talking about parking your Porsche in what's his name? Most eligible bachelor in Hollywood, George Clooney's garage.
Oh, did he mention that?
Yeah. I parked in there I was doing a movie overseas, and he let me park my Porsche in his garage, and
so to speak.
Yeah. And Clooney said something like, "Yeah, it's fine by me. It's always better to look like you got two Porsches than one."
Bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
Fuck them, man. I hope he goes down for his comments.
No. Clooney said that by having Gary's Porsche in his garage next to his own Porsche. Gotcha. It's always better to have two Porsches than one, or the perception.
No, I think Jay just doesn't like that even he has a Porsche.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You just don't like that he even has a Porsche, right?
I'm fine with him having a Porsche.
Porsche. Asshole.
Yeah, jeez. Doctors, Porsches, actors.
I'm snooty today.
You are. What was I going to say? There was one other thing I wanted to say. Oh, speaking of Hollywood people, have you seen any interviews with this girl? Her book came out today, and she's talking. She was kind of she set up these poker games in Hollywood for like some of the biggest names in the business, and would have these massive poker. I mean, on tips alone, she was raking in over $4 million a year.
Oh,
yeah, that's the tables we're talking about. DiCaprio,
Tobey Maguire,
Affleck. Maguire,
guys are big time.
Matt Damon showed up for one, and they had like suckers, like guys that sucked, but that they knew were so rich they could bring them in anyways to these games. And who do you think that guy was? Alex Rodriguez.
Nice.
They knew A-Rod would come in and just suck balls, and they could just take him for millions. And she literally was talking about six-figure hands were all the time. 7-figure hands, dude. Over $1 million a hand on poker games. Oh, and then she ended up getting busted by the feds because she started. She moved her table to New York, and then broke the law by by taking a percentage of wins instead of just getting tips. Like someone was going to lose every night, but someone else was going to win big, and then they would give her tons of money, for winning. Hey, the happiest guy in the room. Yeah. Here's $10,000 for today, whatever. But she did something where, and I guess I don't know how common this is, but she broke some federal law by taking a percentage of wins or something, and they ended up coming after her, and so. But anyway, this book sounds fascinating, but it just speaks to the level that you're talking about with some of these bankable Hollywood guys. Where can you imagine playing a card game with some buddies for $1 million on the table?
Cartoon life, that ain't real,
Right?
Really, that goes on. God,
yeah, it is a cartoon life. It's crazy. Anyway, we should move on.
Did you see that Alex Rodriguez, by the way, he took off his lawsuit now, and he's
against Major League Baseball?
Yeah, and now he's says he's looking forward to playing next year after his suspension is over.
I honestly forgot all about him.
He's gonna come back in 2015. He's ready to go.
So bad.
He's not even a decent player anymore. He was a joke last year.
I know.
Do you even know offhand what his stats were? They were pathetic.
I thought it was like in the 270s, if not
if
lower.
That.
But you'll confirm that in 3, 2, 1. No. Timko.
Timko just shakes his head.
Timko's like, no, this one's on him. Let's see. Let's let him go.
That
Here he
hilarious.
goes. www.goloogle.
Pressure.
A-Rod stats 2013.
Look at him go. Look at him go. He's freaking out. Delete. Ah. I did giggle instead of Google. Dang it.
You asshole.
I'll jump into the mix now, and I'll find it faster than you.
Fine. I don't care. I'm not
you should, you idiot.
That wasn't my...
He saw a link to some porn. He's sidetracked now.
Fuck. Now
A-Rod pulled up some porn. Rod.
Eric, I think it's time for a new career choice.
I messed up and I couldn't find it. I know it was in the 200s.
Here it is.
Eric, what are you talking about?
Mike pulled it up on his iPhone.
Hey, you didn't even know.
He played 44 games, had 156 at-bats, 21 runs batted in, 38 hits, batted .244.
Well, 270 was close.
That was useful information to our discussion.
Enough of this guy already.
You know what they did? That broadened the discussion. It helped it. It moved it along.
Yeah.
Gave it some
You
context.
didn't even know that it happened.
Instead of just
Someone
speculating.
please turn off his microphone.
Okay.
Instead of just pure speculation, we were able to confirm it with some hard facts that I think our listeners appreciated.
Absolutely. I think they do too.
Well,
we gave them some reference
listeners
points.
wouldn't have even known that Alex Rodriguez had the situation. So.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jay. I'm just getting tired of Googling on the spot. It's too easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let Mike handle this one.
Give him some practice.
Yeah, but doesn't that book sound fascinating?
Yeah.
I really want to.
Yeah, no, it sounds
get a
great.
copy of that?
Yeah. I love reading.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I'm a big reader.
Uh-huh.
Oh, fuck you. I'll bring my library to you tomorrow and show you all the books I've read.
So that's the book you read.
I'm reading one right now. But I
Called.
A lot of my books are
entitled
Dr. Seuss.
Stephen.
Green Eggs and.
It's a Stephen King book.
Yeah, the Poker
I read
Princess.
a lot of Stephen King.
Yeah. What's her name?
Molly Bloom.
Molly.
Of course,
that's it.
she looks like that. You got to look like that to be the Poker Princess.
Yeah.
Good for her. She found a multi-million-dollar career without,
doing
Yeah.
anything.
I think she was just like a waitress or something, or a bartender in a strip club or something like that, and just popped up a game one day, and it was off and running. It's just crazy. And if she would have just stuck to the tips, she would have
That's how it
made
always happens, right?
$4.5 million a year.
Yeah.
Who couldn't? Why is that not enough?
I know, dude.
Seriously,
Especially
I
for what
just
you're
don't
doing.
get it.
I mean, it's not
Yeah, it's not like she was making millions as a
I
movie
wonder if
star
she
and
was
then
even-
settling for $4.5 million.
Do you think she was even dealing the cards, or do you think she was just setting the game? I mean,
No, well, I know she wasn't always there. She had guys running. She had people running games for her at times.
okay.
In fact, when the bust came, I don't think she was there. I think when they actually broke in, she wasn't even at the game. But it sounded like anyways, and I haven't read the book, but it sounded like she was.
They do those everywhere. That's so funny. The idea of the not as much as what she's doing, but that charity poker rooms. You ever see that?
Oh,
I know bars they're open all day playing poker for charity or
Yeah.
whatever, as if someone would be there all day.
Bit of a loophole, right?
Right. It's something I think as long as they donate 10% of the pot to.
Yeah, the rules are different in every state. But by the way, I know whenever I see stories like this one that popped up today, I have the same thought that you do, Jay, where it's okay, is this even real?
Yeah.
Did this happen?
Like, are we going to talk about this and then find out tomorrow? Oh, total hoax.
Yeah, which will become relevant in a couple stories from now because we're dealing with that exact thing. But yeah, this kind of popped up, and I don't know who sent it to us. I can't remember, but I saw it on Facebook. Was the first place I saw it. This guy dies in a wood chipper down in Florida, and police have ID'd the guy. Hernan Gutierrez is his name, 42 years old. And they're continuing to investigate it, but it sounds like it was an accident. Looking at this, I don't know how that's possible, but it's straight out of Fargo. It really is. It's disgusting, man. Think about
everyone
that.
can picture these things, right? These big industrial deals that they just whip huge branches into, and it's just
trunks.
And it pulls it through.
Yeah.
As you insert the thing,
Which is
it
key.
has these huge kind of wheel grinder blades that just pull the thing through.
And it just throws them into wood chips on the other side.
And so if anyone's seen Fargo, which I'm sure many have, that's how they disposed of one of the bodies at the end, right?
Oh, yeah. You just picture him with that foot.
Yeah, shoving it in there.
Shoving that foot in. Oh, so gross. But I guess this happened at about 4:15 on Monday when he went through the machine that they described as industrial size. I don't know if you saw the picture, though. There was like an overhead shot.
Yeah, I've got it right here.
With the blood. You could see all the blood in the...
Laura sent it to us on Facebook. Yeah, it does look like just a stream of nastiness inside the truck. You know, there's regular color wood chips, and then it looks like just bleh.
Yeah, just slop it. It's all red.
Dude.
Let me see the picture.
Could there be a worse way to go? I don't know.
Well, I wonder how fast that would be.
That's true. That's what I was about to say. Like,
it depends if you go feet first or head first.
That's true.
I wouldn't want to go feet first. Let's just say that.
Yeah, head first would be no big deal. You'd be done in a second.
Can you imagine the OSHA violation that occurred here? You know,
OSHA's looking at it.
The guards that needed to be removed from that thing for that to happen. You know, there's all sorts of safety shit. I mean, I've never run one, but I got to believe there's all kinds of shit that precludes anything bigger than a finger going in there and, you know, stand back from whatever, and this needs to be inserted first, and guard comes down. There's always that shit.
There is.
So I'm sure just to expedite things, guys out there in the field, just take that shit off, you know?
Which it sounds like exactly happened here. There is a guard, like you said. But, I mean, we've all seen those things. That they'll put tree trunks that are the size, that are good size. So how would that work with a? I don't know. It just seems like crazy that could happen. But it was at this old folks' home. This where they were working at this this place that's got 80 units of affordable housing, and all these old folks there. So yeah, these people are just horrified. The residents. Oh, that's the scene. Gross.
Sort of like, have you ever worked with a food processor?
Yeah, and that's a tiny one here in the movie.
Yeah.
That's like a little handheld one.
Yeah.
The guy's sock on.
Oh.
Shoving the foot through. Ah!
Hey, what are you doing, eh? Yeah. Great movie.
Yeah.
I hear the TV show is actually good too.
It was awesome.
Yeah, did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. It was great.
I hear it was really good. Who was the lead? Billy Bob
Thornton.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. He's amazing in so many things. When news of this reached the residents there at this 80 unit complex, they were very upset. I have never heard anything like this. It was immediately evident to arriving police that Gutierrez had died. What tipped him off?
What was the cause of that?
Dude. What's left? Just mush and junk and...
Do you think you would automatically assume that it was a body? I mean, you can't imagine there'd be anything left besides...
Oh, it's got to be just so messy and wet and sloppy. You know, you're picturing just chunks.
I'm not even picturing that.
No, what are you picturing?
Just liquid.
Okay. Yeah, I'm picturing a lot of chunks and a lot of just messy liquid sliminess.
Yeah.
You know, all the intestines and shit.
Oh,
you know, that's just gonna run
You've
through.
Gone too far.
It's gonna run through, but then it's gonna drip off the end and stuff.
Oh, all right, all right. Now you're crossing lines.
So a skull, yes, you know, it'd go through. It would chip. It would chip into pieces.
Not getting hard
but then you've got brain matter brain matter and intestines and so
come
forth that
on.
would just
All
slop
right.
out of the
I want to apologize right now to our audience that's listening to Jay and Jay alone discuss. Yeah, I know it is.
Just
You want
trying
to
to
check?
be descriptive for the listeners.
Anyone want to get a crotch check over there? And see, can we get a Woody check? See if Jay's erect over there.
Dude, God.
Almost sounds like he is a little
The
excited.
wood chipper need to get a room.
We're in a verbal medium here. I think we need to describe what we're
In
talking
grave
about.
detail. Yeah, you've done a great
I
job.
think everyone could picture what a wood chipper would seem like. Like I don't think anyone's going like, I wonder what it looks like.
I don't know that people have really thought this through, Eric. I think we need
They
to
saw
help
the
them.
movie.
The scene was gruesome to see what the machine could do to a human being.
That's Jay talking about the wood chipper.
There were no witnesses to what police are treating as an accidental death. This nearby resident, Cheryl Apple, said she went outside to check the mail on Monday and saw a landscape worker in an orange vest running down the street from the wood chipper to where another man was working. He was obviously extremely distraught, yelling, flailing his arms around, screaming. He ran into a fence near where another worker was using a chainsaw to cut up branches and collapsed against it. His knees buckled. Yeah, that's kind of the scene I would envision.
I'm very suspicious of this story still.
Yeah.
No witnesses to it. I just feel like
Yeah.
at the old folks home, you've got reaction from the. I just feel like this might be a hoax here.
It's
I'm
on
just
so
throwing it out
many.
there.
I mean, it really. I mean, joking aside, sometimes when that's on one story, but this is on multiple stories.
Yeah,
It's been updated since.
So was the
then.
KFC one, though.
Yeah, that's true too.
We had Eric do an extensive search of.
That's it, my reputation's on the line.
Yeah,
There are.
we
I
did.
wonder.
We put his 13-year radio reputation on the line, and he confirmed this 100%.
Yeah.
I'm very suspicious of it.
Well, I'm kind of with you. I'm very skeptical of things just by nature, and this story I do believe because, like Eric said, it is in a lot of reputable places are going with this story. That doesn't mean it's not bullshit, because we know how good our media is at fact checking nowadays. If you notice, you read a story like this, you'll get exact quotes and verbatim wording in everybody's story. They're all just pulling quotes from one source.
That's a good point.
So it's not like anybody's calling on these things, and they're just going on what everyone else said.
All right,
So
well, here's another angle. There's no witnesses to the event. All we have is messy slime coming out the other end in chunks, right?
yeah,
What if Hernan Gutierrez has some huge gambling debt, grabs a few bunny rabbits, chickens, whatever it may be, runs it through there, makes
And
it
then
look like
walks
it's
away.
him, walks away.
Playing your own fake death before, Jay?
Exactly.
well, wouldn't they just take some of that slop that you talked
Do a
about?
little quick DNA.
Yeah.
Check the fur. Go, wait a second. Was Hernan furry? This looks like rabbit fur to me.
Was his wife in any way big fan of carrots or yeah? Was he married to a rabbit perhaps, or any of his children rabbit-like in any way?
No, yeah, it'd be easily spotted as not his DNA if they were to go to that length. But I'm thinking out of the box here, Mike.
Well, if it happened Monday, would they on Tuesday have results from? I mean, on a TV show they would.
No.
But not in real life, right?
Hernan
so there's
could
no
be
way.
long gone. He could be long gone.
So if he literally walked down the street, threw his vest through the chipper, along with a bunch of chickens and rabbits,
That's a really good idea.
and then walked down the street, went, "Oi, Ming, I'm out of here, Ming. This is bullshit. I'm not paying those gambling debts. Fuck that shit."
That is a great way to play
And
your
then-
own death.
Yeah.
Andale.
Yeah.
And then gone.
Great way.
Yeah, no me gusta this shit. And he's out of there. Yeah. Huh?
There's no question
Yeah.
you could distract people long enough to at least think you were gone at that point.
Yeah.
God,
It's shocking enough. Everybody'd be like, "Oh God," and they'd
Yeah.
all stand back. No one would want to touch it.
Did you
It'd take you'd be hours ahead.
Yeah, and they're just interviewing anybody in the neighborhood. Did you hear anything? Did you hear anything? I just heard someone going,
Ah,
No me gusta.
"Ow, Ming! Ow, Ming!
no bien.
Ouch, Ming! Ouch, Ming!" That's all I heard it was clearly a Mexican guy saying, "Ouch, Mang! Ouch, Mang!" So it must have been Gutierrez. He was the only one in the vicinity, Mang.
Yell that out a few times and then run
Yeah, and then just walks slowly down the street and giggle, and you're gone.
You guys with me on this?
I'm with you. This is bullshit.
Well, I'm glad we got to the bottom of that.
Now, why do they say police have ID'd the man?
No, they ID'd his vest. Like you say, he ran his
they
vest
found his
through.
name tag.
He said, yeah.
And they've got all these witness accounts of, "Ow, Mang!" It was all they heard. Neighbors heard, "Ow, Mang!" over and over. and they found Suarez's vest, and his name tag was in. I don't know. It went through the chipper, but it's in one piece. We've got it right here. Suarez. It's fine.
Gutierrez. Yeah.
Imagine that. Look at that picture of the wood chipper there with debris coming out. Imagine there's Gutierrez just coming out the other end.
Throwing him out.
How fast would that happen? How fast would our man go in and
that's
then come
why I
out?
don't think this is real. I think that there would be some hang up. I think you'd need to like grab a big stick and push him through.
Well,
I think he'd get hung up. Like one leg would go cockeyed. Boom, you're caught at the crotch. You know what I mean?
I think it would absolutely.
You think it just
yank you through there? Yeah, it's meant to take down tree trunks. That thing would break you in pieces instantly. And
Gutierrez looks pretty thick though, from his.
Thick as he may be, he's still goop inside.
Yeah.
And he's gonna go through immediately.
Yeah, there's more that needs to be done in this story. But
as a lawyer,
lots of interesting angles.
You want facts, and you're used to getting answers clearly, and so you're someone who wants to dig a little deeper and see what was going on with Mr. Gutierrez.
Yeah.
Is there any reason that he could benefit from being chipped?
Exactly.
Is there any reason at all?
Is there any reason he would want to be chipped?
Yeah. Is there anything in the past that would say a chipping is best for Gutierrez?
Nice creating the backstory, Jay. Making fun of me for doing it, but now that's what you're doing?
Well, no, he's just asking questions.
Wow.
That's right.
He's being
I just
investigated.
don't blindly search Google and then print shit out and say, I put my reputation as a 13-year radio host on the line.
Asking questions and making up a gambling debt are two different things. Making up a gambling. How is that not filling in the backstory?
He's not. He's just saying potentially. Like, has anybody looked into this?
Yeah.
Has anybody
Could be any
examined?
number of things, Eric. It's just an example.
Yeah. Clearly, that's what I heard anyways, Eric. You're not going to win this one because he's turned me on this. I think it's clear Gutierrez had a gambling problem. Probably was cheating on his wife.
This was all staged.
Yeah. And,
And they're going to find some fucking Hassenpfeffer in the back of that truck. Good for them.
Said chickens.
Chickens and bunnies.
Goops and chicken, and that's all you're going to find.
I'm going to search this story every day until it's proven that I'm right.
Well,
I have to go get his body and put him in the wood chipper again. I'll do it.
Track Gutierrez down.
I'll track him down from his gambling debts.
Well,
his affair, his mistress.
Hopefully Gutierrez has thought this through enough that he's not going to fucking be pulled over next week. Like, oh man, I was out of town. I don't know. Hopefully, well, for his sake, I don't know.
A guy like him, he's 3 steps ahead. Don't worry.
Yeah, he thinks so. Clearly, he's thinking ahead. He's way ahead of him. Well, if he does have a past where it's like, oh, he's got a mistress on the side or a gambling situation, I think we'll be able to find that out.
Yeah.
Now I kind of want it to be fake just to prove you right. So Eric's reputation is on the line. Damn it!
It's a sterling reputation.
Now this is a story that we had yesterday and didn't get to, but these dudes are a whole nother level altogether. This Gregory Hale, who was arrested at his home last week, charged with premeditated first-degree murder and abuse of a corpse. Anytime you hear abuse of a corpse, I stop
reading typically. Before I was on the show, I'd stop reading.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
You would? That'd be enough for you?
Fuck. I wouldn't even click on it. Be like, okay, deny that that's even happening. But now here we are reading every
gory
word of the
detail.
story.
Yeah. Hey, I don't want to hear it from you, Mister, going through exact inch-by-inch detail of a body going through a chipper and coming out the other side.
You made me imagine it.
No, you made me imagine it.
I just verbalized it.
I had a very simple and generic idea.
Very
we
clean
all
look.
did. Very clean. Coming out the other side until Jay talked about limbs going this way and that way and brains. And
tendrils.
Anytime you talk about innards, like the intestines, I'm out. I don't want to hear about intestines going through a fucking chipper, and you made me think about it. Thank you.
Yeah,
So I'm going to make you think about what Greg Hale did. Your old buddy Hale.
Here we go, Hale.
Yeah. He's confessed, by the way, to killing this woman identified as Lisa Hyder.
Oh, and then what?
Well,
No.
authorities called the two acquaintances. They say that Hale told authorities he beheaded Hyder and cut off her hands.
Say that 10 times quick.
Yeah. Hale told authorities he
Beheaded Hyder. He beheaded Hyder.
beheaded Hyder and cut off her hands, placed the body parts in a plastic bucket.
Mm-hmm.
He then cut off her feet and other body parts, placed them in a separate bucket.
Of course.
Yeah, and I don't know if these are those $5 buckets you get at
probably the 5-gallon Home Depot.
The orange ones, the orange buckets that we're all familiar with. So you could definitely hold some feet in there, and hands in a separate one.
And then
Hale
what? And then what?
Buried the torso in a burn pile at the residence. Also, then he admitted to eating part of the victim.
Oh no, he didn't.
He did.
Oh.
He was hungry. A lot of work goes into that. What he just did.
God.
What the fuck, man?
I don't know. These people are walking the earth with us.
They're walking amongst us.
Yep.
I posed a question to Jay about this because he's once again kind of talking about all this shit that he has to see all the time.
Yeah.
And I said, if you really think about it, who's really normal? Is it really, you know what I mean? There are so many.
Do they outnumber us? Is the question.
I mean,
are we the norm?
People eaters?
Or are these fucking
just
weirdos?
everything. Guy putting his dick in cheese or fucking an ATM or this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're
we could
everywhere.
read how many stories could we bring a day if we really wanted to of just. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, if you think about it.
The question I always ask is, are there more of them now, or do we just hear about them more? That's what I don't know. I don't know if by publicizing all these assholes, it births more of them, knowing that they too can be a star. All I got to do is fuck an ATM and let the world know about it.
No, I think people are ramping it up because of what we've discussed before. You know, they've seen that, done that. The internet provides you're one click away from complete deviance.
Yeah.
And you get sick of that after looking at it day after day for 300 days in a row.
How do you know when you go to Myers, you don't see, 10 people in line, and 4 of them, when they go home, are, jerking off the fucking who knows what, or, tying themselves up, and I don't know. It's just...
Yeah. Did you see on Facebook, by the way, the sign that someone put a picture up of at the college in Massachusetts or something? I don't know if it's real or not. About it looks like a dorm, obviously, and there's just a sign on the door telling the kids to stop jacking off in the shower. That they have to spend so much money in cleaning to clean out the drain. It's not meant to take fucking semen. And jack off in your room if you must. Stop beating off in the showers, you animals.
I will say, I don't understand the idea of doing it in the shower like that.
I wouldn't either. I smell a fake, personally.
Only because people come in and, I don't know, maybe they
literally come in.
No.
Yeah, this, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is creepy, though, these people eaters. I was watching a movie over the weekend. Beth and I were watching on Netflix. What was it called? Something about cannibals, and this English reporter was doing the story to find out if there are still people in the world eating other people.
Oh, wow.
And so he went to was it Africa? Something, and was going to these just tribes, where you've just got titties, the National Geographic titties, and they're all painted up and whatnot, and these people. Holy shit, man! It is amazing to think that they occupy the same space on the planet that we do. It's so foreign, just going to this desolate place and talking to people, and he's interviewing these tribe people who are
well, they must think these guys are aliens, right? With their cameras and their weird garb, They descend into their tribe.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Yeah,
I know. They're all wearing their Buffalo Bills Super Bowl champion sweatshirts and stuff. It's just so odd, and they're interviewing these people. It's so weird though. The guys are sitting there, and he's like, so I'm wondering, is anybody here? Has anybody here eaten human flesh? and this guy's he's all smiles, just shaking his smiles, not in a long time, man. Not this year. And they're like, when was the last time someone ate human flesh? And this guy's like, he did. And the guy's just sitting there, the shit grin on his face. He's like, not in a long time. Couple years ago, though. And it was all revenge stuff. It's my buddy Carl died, and he said, no, I'm trying to get the accent. What was the accent they used? I need a reference point because they're not Mexican.
No,
they're not
fucking
fucking Mexican.
You're still in your Meng thing.
Yeah, I'm in my Mang thing. What would in tribe in Africa? Give me a reference point so I can do something.
Zulu speak.
Yeah. What I guess it doesn't matter, but
Can't find one either.
yeah. So should I just do Mexican? No. What do you got there, Jay?
A census taker once tried to test me.
No, it's not.
I ate his liver with some
Yeah.
fava beans.
Yeah.
Nice Chianti.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah. So, but the guys are like, yeah, it's been a couple years since they ate a person, and they're sitting there, but it was just so odd, this grin on their face, like, yeah, this guy died, and his wish was like, take her down when I'm dead, and so when he died, there was like this revenge thing, and they track this guy down, and fucking just spear this guy, and then they bring him back, Mang, and put him on the fire, and then we eat him.
Wow.
And he's just sitting there with his belly hanging out, this shit grin smile on his face. Wow. And this guy's just horrified and is like, so what did it taste like? It's like, hey, like a pig.
Like a pig.
Like a pig. You're eating pig. It tastes like a pig. But it was just so weird. I can't imagine, like, eating a person. And here's this dude. And, of course, isn't that kind of what you'd picture the guy would look like that would eat a person?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Or nibble on a person. Just nibble.
Yeah.
Just
Hale.
sampling it. Hale. Cut it out, Hale. What an asshole.
Would be a good way to dispose of the evidence.
Yeah. I mean, yep.
I guess.
Yeah, there's evidence. Check the toilet. Hyder, the chick,
What's wrong, Jay?
has an ex-husband and children living in the area. She apparently became acquainted with Hale, but there's no evidence that they were in a relationship or she was living with him. A neighbor told police he'd had a conversation with Hale and had reason to believe a killing had been committed. When the officers arrived at the home, Lane said they found remains on the ground, then questioned Hale and took him into custody. What is this conversation with the neighbor that the neighbor was like, okay, someone was fucking killed on these grounds?
Well, because
The hell did he say?
There's another story that says Greg was looking for help disposing of the body. So probably just like word leaked out. But did you see who he ate?
It's one of those things, man. That's a job you gotta. That's a solo gig.
Yeah.
You can't ask anyone to help give you a hand with disposing of a body.
Not going to be able to trust anybody with that info.
No. That's one you got to take to your grave.
Mm-hmm.
That's her.
That's his meal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what part he ate.
She's cute. I don't know if I'd eat her, but she's cute. Yeah.
Definitely wouldn't eat her.
No. Eat her out, maybe. Sorry.
Oh, I was thinking it, but I didn't
No,
want to
of course you were.
Eric
Of course
thought of
you
that
were,
joke
Eric.
first.
No, I know you did. Before I said it for sure.
I knew. Whatever. Just like the last
Ooh.
time. If I'd said it,
Oh no, please continue. Don't cut yourself off. What?
it'd be, if I had said it, it would have been like, oh, something, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Always. You have these brilliant jokes that you sit back on because they're not up to snuff. They don't meet Eric's standards of what qualifies as a quality joke.
Straight out of Stockton.
I was going to say it. I swear to God.
Eric's line, not Jay's.
Yeah, right.
A lot of people who are misinformed give Jay
Yeah,
credit for that
yeah.
straight out of Stockton line.
That was
It was in
actually
fact Eric's.
It was in my head.
It was in his head. Yeah.
In his head. Never verbalized. In his head. Still counts in my book.
It should.
Did you see do you remember the old story from back in '89, the Central Park jogger case?
Absolutely, yeah. That was big news.
Did you see the recent? You want to fill people in on the backstory of that?
Yeah, lady jogging, I think a 28-year-old woman. 28-year-old investment banker Trisha Miley. One of the most notorious crimes in New York City history. Jogging in Central Park. She's found with, what did they say, 75% of her blood drained from her body. Her skull is bashed in. Sexually assaulted in an obvious way.
How would you drain 75% of it? Just bleed out?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So they find her. She's still alive.
Oh.
She was in a coma for 12 days, left with permanent damage, remembers nothing about the attack. But after this occurred, they're obviously, wow, we got to find the assailant here, or assailants, and they grabbed 4 guys who happened to be at the time 15 years old, 14, 16, in that range.
Wow, tried as adults.
Yep, and they were convicted. Each of them spent like many years in jail. I
10
want to say,
plus?
yeah, 10 or so years.
Wow.
And during that time that they were in jail, a serial serial rapist confessed that he alone did it, and DNA actually showed DNA testing that wasn't available back when the
In
four were
89,
convicted actually showed that it was in fact this one guy and not the four.
Does that? I wonder how often that happens, where some guy in jail who's a rapist confesses to something and they don't have DNA and can't prove what he's saying.
Yeah, you
and
never
don't
know if he's
believe
just
it.
bragging, just wants another trophy.
I wonder if has anybody ever let out of jail based on some guy's word without DNA? Like if some guy confesses to something like that?
Yeah, I can't think of.
Can't you go be a criminal attorney, Jay, so you'd see more of these stories?
I know. Too busy over here every day.
Lazy bastard, Eric says.
Oh, wow. That's subordinate. So anyway, the statute of the statute of limitations for charging the actual assailant had run out. But so they couldn't charge the guy with,
because he didn't die. I thought there was no statute of limitations on murder.
No, she didn't die. She's still living. Yeah.
Right, because it wasn't a technical murder. There was a statute of limitations. Really?
And so he didn't get convicted of the additional crime, although he committed it and admitted to it. But they let these four out, and these four sued, and they just last week, I believe, got a $40 million settlement.
Wow.
Between them, and so
$10 million each or 40 each?
Yeah,
10 each?
10 each. Yeah, 40 to split. Whether it's 10 each, I'm not sure. But obviously, the allegation by them was that they were railroaded, they were suspected because of their race, and they were wrongly accused.
Which is probably true.
Yeah, and so our boy, the Reverend Al Sharpton, got behind it, of course.
God.
And issued a statement that the settlement signifies a monumental victory for the young men and their families.
I'm not on team the four of them anymore now that I know that Al's involved.
Yeah.
Seriously, that does something mentally. Whenever I see Sharpton attached to it, it's like, oh, forget it.
I wonder if he actually had anything to do with any of the process, or if he's just jumping out there.
Probably jumping out there.
Nothing to do, no contacts with them while they were in prison. Nothing, just piggybacking on the story.
And that's par for the course for him. He doesn't care. It's not like he gets behind something where it's like, hey, he really honestly believes this poor black guy is in jail wrongfully accused of something, and he's willing to fight to the ends of the earth for him, which you could respect. For instance, Tawana Brawley, which he knew was total bullshit, but it's like, nope, it's injustice, black people, injustice. And so it just makes it so you can't. Can we get the video by the way of him hacking on the air again? Can we please just watch that for fun?
Where he gurfed. He did the hairball.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It's always worth a good spin, right?
Hell yeah. But these things, these settlements of prior convictions and stuff, we had a local one as well recently.
Yeah.
Guy got out.
Royal Oak man.
Yeah.
Got 7 years.
$500,000 or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Crime he did not commit. His accepted $505,000 out of court settlement.
Can you? 7 years. Can you imagine, dude?
Well, this is Jacob Trachtenberg, 77, was charged and convicted in 2005, but never admitted guilt in the alleged sex assault of a 7-year-old relative, even when it would have meant an early release from prison for him. I think that speaks volumes.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of Mike Tyson, when he could have gotten out of jail years earlier by just admitting guilt in the rape case against him, and he was like, fuck you, I'm not admitting guilt for some bullshit I didn't do. That's bullshit. I'd rather rot in here for the rest of my life than admit guilt. At that point, it's like,
yeah, that says something. And that brings me back to the Central Park story. This is another one of these stories, and we've seen these before, where these guys claim they're wrongly convicted after confessing. So these guys gave confessions on video, and some of them did with their parents in the room, and it just goes to this.
What? Like with their parents in the room?
I mean, they've got their parents in the room, and they give a videotaped confession. Yeah, I was involved in this, and then it proves not to be. It's just unbelievable. Like, what can be going on mentally after being held? What kind of manipulation is going on that you would ever confess to anything you didn't do?
I used to say that too, Jay, where it's like, there's no way you could, if I had nothing honestly to do with some murder, I don't care how many hours you had me in a room and were good cop, bad cop in me. And,
I'll still say that. I would never confess to something.
And I feel the same way, but there's been so many cases, and I've seen Dateline specials that they've done on this exact phenomenon almost. And it's incredible how the biggest, strongest guys will absolutely, if you deprive them long enough and beat them down enough and act like because they act like there's a mountain against them and the whole world's against them, and and they try to trip them up in any way they can.
I think it'd be much harder if it's a sole individual being charged. I think how they get them to do it is they say
the others
somebody rolled on you, dude, and not only did one person, everybody is pinning it on you.
Yeah.
So you better come clean as to how you were involved and how the others were, or it's solely on you, and you're
going
down.
Get the death penalty.
So then they go, fuck, now I just got to cut my losses,
Yeah.
I got to just pin it on the other guys too. Yeah, I did it, but so did they,
Yeah. No, I could see that.
But if you're
right,
just individually, it's just you. Fuck, I'd go to my grave, man.
Yeah.
I would never.
Yeah, these people that sign these sign paperwork, like a big story up, like what they did and how. It's like, what? And they didn't? How is that possible?
I don't know, man.
But they say, experts will say that it's absolutely possible, and very, very strong people who know they're innocent will eventually fold. That it's not as uncommon.
Yeah.
That it's actually really kind of a common thing. But it's amazing, yeah. So anyway, this guy that you were talking about here, Trachtenberg, he's a Russian immigrant, came to this country with $15 in his pocket, built a $1.2 million home. Just for a backstory here, he's the guy. I thought I recognized the name. Okay, he's the guy that sued his attorney, Deborah McKelvey, and it just seemed really weird, that whole thing. Like,
it was like a 5-minute trial or something.
Yeah, she had no opening statement, called no witnesses, something like that. And they ended up, the judge ended up going, his lawyer fucked him.
Yeah, so he's getting a new trial. He's not scot-free, right? Wasn't he?
Well, he was wrongfully, convicted and thrown in jail and was in for 7 years. He's repeatedly denied any wrongdoing in Trachtenberg's case. Well, that's his attorney. Was convicted of second-degree criminal sexual assault following a 53-minute bench trial. McKelvey did not make an opening statement or call any witnesses on his behalf. His criminal record was erased after the Supreme Court dismissed his conviction and ruled he could sue McKelvey. So they proved that it wasn't him, and he ended up accepting $505,000.
So $505,000 obviously isn't enough for what happened to this guy, right?
7 years at that age,
right.
At 70, you've only got 7 years left.
Well, that's what he's probably thinking, and that's part of what drove the settlement. He probably figured, I'll take what I can actually collect from this chick and just be done with it. You know? I mean, if the question was how much is a year worth of your life, go sit in prison. You need to be paid what, Mike?
Well, I was going to say, would $10 million like these kids got for 10 years?
No.
Let's just round it and say 10 years of their life is in jail, and pretty good 10 years, 15 to 25. That's a pretty good 10-year span.
Yeah.
Is that worth $10 million? And also, let's break it down further at $1 million a year, essentially. So would you do it for $3 million 3 years? $1 million for a year?
Before taxes?
Yeah, I was just going to say. I was just going to say the taxes.
They do tax that.
I know.
They do. God, dude, I don't know. I used to have this discussion with the Jackson thing, where it was like, if I had a kid, I'd let Jackson beat my kid off for $30 million. Come on, take one for the team, kid. $35 million? You kidding me? You probably dig it anyways. Let Jackson blow you. Who cares?
That's a good point.
Certainly, if Eric was my kid, all day long he's going to Neverland Ranch and getting blown. I'm sorry. You just are, Eric.
$35 million.
You're taking one for the team.
I'm getting some of that $35 million, as long as I don't have to work again.
We can discuss that. That's not out of the question.
Whoa.
Just saying, you're a child, man. These are adult decisions that need to be made.
You better be getting some money to trust later.
Why? So you can blow it on candy? Forget it. You'll just do what, as the adults say. Now go get blown by Jackson, and we'll deal about money later. We'll put it in a trust for you. Relax.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, dude.
So what would it cost for you? Would you?
I would never ever pimp my kids out to anybody for that.
Yeah, I know. You're all again.
No,
your kids come first. Whatever.
Here we go.
Your kid can't be touched.
Jay's nightmare scenario.
Go. No, I mean about jail. Never. What would you ever like? A body part. Would you lose a finger for $1 million?
Hell yeah.
Middle finger even?
I would go low 4 figures on my pinky.
Wait. No way.
Yeah.
For $9 grand?
I would seriously think about pinky.
I'll give you $9 grand. I'll get $9,000 together. I want your pinky. I'm gonna wear it on a necklace.
This pinky barely works anyway. Look at that.
I'm gonna sit on it every day too. I'm gonna molest your pinky.
I don't believe for a second you're cutting your pinky off for $9,000.
You'd have to consider it. You'd have to consider it.
No, not for $9,000.
Dude, I would literally hold my hand like this, and I would super glue your pinky onto the end of my pinky, and I would just do stuff like this, just like scratch my cheek and stuff with your pinky in front of you. For $9,000, that's a hell of an investment.
We're thinking out loud here, Mike. We're thinking out loud. Pinky toe for sure.
Pinky toe? No, it would have to. You'd have to be in the high five figures to even consider it. I think it'd get your balance off. You couldn't walk right.
That's what everybody says, balance, but no.
Your pinky, you're saying you'd never be able to throw a football again, and you've got a good arm.
Left-handed pinky.
No, I want the right one.
Yeah, you don't get to choose. You don't get to choose which one.
Sure I do. I'm only taking $9,000 out of this deal.
What about an ear?
Oh,
you can still hear though.
Yeah, that's a bit more. That's it's gonna be high. That's gonna be 6 figures.
It's an expensive ear.
Yeah.
What about a nut?
Oh.
How much could I buy your nut for?
Yeah, that might be for sale.
I could do that. I could be doing that for $1 million.
$1 million? Your nut's not worth $1 million.
Okay, but if it was offered, I'm saying
your nut almost gave itself up for free when it twisted itself.
Got all twisted and confused.
Yeah, that thing's a mess, anyways. I don't want it.
Yeah,
give you $5,000 for it. Let her.
Okay.
God knows it hasn't been washed in a decade.
I
don't want your filthy nut.
I've got 3 kids and don't need any more. I'd
Yeah.
say my nut is for sale.
How much? What are we talking? I need a starting point.
Yeah, let's go $30K.
$30K? You take that? I'll give you $5 for it.
Or we're gonna meet in the middle now.
Yeah, we'll just meet in the middle.
No, I'm standing firm at $30K.
Sold. $14,950. Give me your nut. Once my check clears, I'm getting this Jay's nut.
$30K tax free. Yeah.
All right. What about
you, Mike?
What about a tooth?
Oh.
Front one.
So many fake teeth there.
One of the first 5 up front.
Does he have to leave it out, or can he get a fake
one?
Oh
yeah.
later?
Can it be my fake one?
Yeah, you've got a fake one, don't you?
Yeah, all these are fake.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's got a gross story.
Ugh. Pretty vain.
For me, dude, I have
he called me vain.
Pretty vain.
Doesn't it do something in the light or something, or the dark? You can see it.
Oh, you can totally tell. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have the gum line that my other ones do.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, this is all fake.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that from.
We're bidding on Jay's nut over
yeah,
here.
bring it on.
Is that what that is?
No, I'm standing firm at 30.
That is the worst auction call sound I've ever heard.
On the spot. Well, it is Jay's nut. We have to save the better ones for.
Yeah.
Anyway. I also noticed, by the way, I like how Eric is really beating up on Jay today because Jay's under the weather. It seems like Eric's really trying to gang up on Jay.
Yeah, he
today.
knows I don't have energy to run over there and whack
gotta
him,
hit down while they're down, dude. You gotta. What's it?
I literally don't have the energy to stand up and punch you, and you know that. So
exactly.
Maybe tomorrow.
I put a much higher value
on your nut?
On my body parts in general, pinky, ear, tooth.
Yeah,
than you do.
I
You
misstated
undervalued.
The pinky was. I'll admit that. I was thinking out loud, and now that I've thought about it, $9,000 is not acceptable.
Wouldn't you have to at least
20?
50? Yeah, I was gonna say 15, 20.
No way, dude. I think you got to be talking 50, 60, 80,000.
2 knuckles.
Yeah, still, I think you're undervaluing yourself. I think it's worth more than you think.
On the black market, yeah.
Yeah. What about an organ? A kidney.
Which kidney?
Your heart. Give me your brain.
Brain.
No, like
you'd be like Eric.
Spleen. You don't need a spleen.
Well, then why would I want it?
Tonsil.
Yeah.
Just thinking about things you don't need.
No, I'd be fine with that. So I mean, just make an offer. Make an offer, dude.
I'm making an offer.
Who's paying for the surgery? Is the offer part of the surgery, or?
No, you've got to pay for it. It's just what.
Yeah, you can't expect the guy losing an organ to cover the surgery.
Although I am the only one with benefits here, right?
Yeah. I don't think that would count. I don't think your benefits.
No, dude,
I don't think they'd kick in that case.
They probably would.
Okay, here's the deal. I've decided.
Blue Cross Blue Shield's looking at that going, wait, what?
He sold his pinky for $4,000. What? Okay, I guess we got to do it.
How do we
he's got
code
insurance.
this? How do we code this?
File that under dipshit. I don't know. Oh man, that's hilarious. I'd have to think about it, but I obviously.
Why is your nut so valuable?
I don't know. Maybe I've just overvalued it for all these years. For some reason, I just think
you're not having kids, right?
I doubt it. I don't think so. I mean, there's nothing in the works. Ditch one.
Could use some coin, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't want to lose a nut. That sucks. I'm trying to think. I'll give you some hair.
Hair? You could chop that off right now.
I'm just saying. I'd sell it cheap too, man.
Nails.
And it's washed. It's clean hair. Oh man! All right.
I would absolutely. By the way, I would cut my nut off if I could pay off my credit card bills right now.
And he told me what it is. It's $6,500. $6,500.
You give a nut up for $6,500?
Wow.
I bet.
Wow.
I bet we've got.
Not saying. Whoa, no.
I bet we've got listeners
Shut his
who will do
microphone
that.
off. I guarantee you, we've got listeners. Together,
come on, everybody.
As a team, we could get $6,500.
We can make this happen, folks.
Eric, it would change your life.
It would change my life.
Put it in a jar.
Wow, look at that. He sounds. I turned his microphone off, and he sounds exactly as he does when it's blaring. Talk again, Eric.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, that's how he sounds.
Dude, that's amazing. Your mic is completely off right now, and you sound exactly the same.
It'd be a big change in my life, though, right now.
That is unreal.
Yeah. They'd have to also pay for the surgery, though, as pre-stated.
Yeah, I know. We're just those are minor details. We'll work that out. Well, why don't we take a quick break and we can try and drum something up, see if we can come up with a solution for getting Eric's surgery going.
Get a Kickstarter going.
Yeah, there you go.
Fund me now.
Yeah, fund me now. Eric's nut. Is there anyone you want to keep, especially like a right one, left one hangs lower than the other? You want to hang on to?
I guess I'd have to.
Yeah.
God, if you think about it, it just really wouldn't matter. Like my sex life wouldn't change, so what would it matter?
No, you're right. That's a good point. I think we got a deal here. $6,500, folks.
I'd probably just tell, and if anything, I'd just tell girls I had cancer, and that'd make them feel bad for me.
Oh yeah, because I gambled and I sold my nut for $6,500 on a radio show. Story isn't good enough.
It's not as much of a.
That's better than cancer.
Yeah, but it's not as much of a sob story. I guess.
Yeah, true. This is a guy who was going to get a penis tattooed on himself over a basketball loss. So.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. He is
the
up there
gift
for
that
making.
keeps on giving, like you say.
Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and hit a lot of these stories. We should talk about the KFC one. A guy with a tail. I wonder what he charged for his tail.
Great question.
We'll find out. Well, we won't find that.
We'll speculate.
Yeah.
In moments when we come back
on the Detroit Cast.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break. The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay here on a Wednesday edition of the show. And we had briefly mentioned earlier the kind of a follow-up to the KFC story, but we never really did the KFC story the other day when it broke.
Yeah, we had our suspicions. We don't just run with anything.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so...
It seemed weird, and basically what happened, there was a KFC down in Mississippi, I guess it was, right? Mississippi,
no.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I?
M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, the KFC down in Mississippi, and apparently this family goes in there with this girl, 3 years old or so, and she had scars on her face from an apparent attack from a pit bull.
Yep.
Or multiple pit bulls. And so the story goes, someone from the restaurant came up to them and said, "We don't serve your kind here in Mississippi. You're going to have to leave." And asked her basically to leave.
Yeah, basically that she was a distraction to other customers.
The scar was so gross that other people were creeped out and couldn't eat their disgusting food.
Yeah, the scar looked like their chicken too much or something.
Oh, that's so gross. Well, now...
And that the reason that story got legs, it's believable, right? You could see some KFC dolt doing that, couldn't you?
Well, I don't know. In today's sensitive, ultra-sensitive society, it seemed really hard to believe.
But you also know.
Of all places, maybe Bubba Joe, manager Bubba Joe down there in Mississippi. Man, that scar is gross. Get that thing out of here. That monster out of here. But now they're saying KFC, what they did, they couldn't, it sounds like they had trouble validating the story in-house. So they got an outside investigator to come in and look at this and do a full investigation and to see if this was true, if this happened.
The kid exists, right?
Oh,
the
yeah.
Family and kid exists.
Yes. And the restaurant right away said, hey, we'll give $30,000 to the kid for future surgeries. And all this stuff, but at the same time, they were like, okay, why does nobody in this restaurant know what we're talking about or know anything about this? And it could just be that nobody wanted to admit it or whatever. So anyways, they had this outside group come in, unaffiliated with the restaurant, and do this investigation. Well, they couldn't really find anything either. And they concluded that it was a hoax, that it was bullshit. They're still awaiting the investigator's report. But they have completed the investigation. KFC, they says they couldn't, this outside internal investigation they did could not verify this incident at all. Their commitment of that $30,000 to help with the medical bills will not be affected by the outcome of the investigation.
That's nice.
So regardless, they're like, yeah, whatever, we'll still give you the 30 grand. The attorney who represents the family said a statement would be issued, looks like today, at some point later today. So maybe, I don't know if there has been.
There's an attorney who represents the family.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I don't know why.
Really, if this is just all a hoax and this just gets out there that...
Yeah, why would they have an attorney? That's a great question, Jay.
The truth is somewhere in the middle.
Attorney Bill Kellum, who reps the family.
They had a reason to go get a lawyer. They saw a foothold here, an opportunity, an opening, so to speak. Something happened.
Yeah,
something was said.
Something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
Something ain't adding up.
Down there in Mississippi, M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-I-P-I.
There's
right.
They've got a website, Victoria's Victories, which has followed the child's recovery.
I was going to say, hold on, they have a website already.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
This was about
before.
This is all about the attack and the surgeries and whatnot. KFC posted an apology the next morning after this apparently took place, and asked for more details about what happened. Terry Bates, the child's aunt, runs the Facebook page. I promise it is not a hoax. I never thought any of this would blow up the way it has. I have personally watched this family go without to provide for Victoria. They have not and would not do anything to hurt Victoria in any way. Well, that's irrelevant. Nobody's accusing the family of hurting Victoria. How does that doesn't mean you haven't totally made this story up.
Right.
Earlier, the child's grandmother, Kelly Mullins, told this TV station that the child had just been to a doctor, stopped at the restaurant after they ordered their food. An employee approached. They just told us, we have to ask you to leave because the face is disrupting our customers. Sounds like Grandma's got some explaining to do.
Yeah.
It sounds like Grandma was there with the kid, and Grandma talked to the TV station, and it sounds like from the other comments about, I've seen this family go without to provide for Victoria.
Yeah.
It sounds like they don't have much. And
sounds like they didn't find a finger in their food, so they're looking for another means of making a quick dime off KFC. I don't know.
Bates said the child was attacked by 3 pit bulls while visiting her grandfather at his home in April. Since then, she's undergone reconstructive surgery. I think
That's
a
brutal,
few of them.
man.
Yeah, it really is. But
how old is she?
3, I thought.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
Awful. We covered one of those.
I don't know why I'm
stories
saying that, but I thought she was 3.
Remember we covered
3 years old.
a story like that a couple weeks ago where a local kid unfortunately got mauled by the dog while sitting on the couch. Really little baby. God, that stuff just drives me crazy.
Yeah, I know.
So avoidable, so preventable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's tough.
But anyway, this thing's gonna play out. Something might right, like you said.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think it's bullshit? Why would the family be sticking their, like, digging in and saying it
got
happened?
a lawyer.
Unless they just are going on Grandma's word and Grandma's full of shit. Right? I don't know. It's a weird story, though.
Another one we gotta watch.
I'm inclined to think that if what?
Are you watching all these stories about every day? There's like
them.
4 more days. Like,
I know.
We gotta keep our eye on this one.
No, asshole. I thought you were
Oh.
subordinate. When I say that means write it down and watch it, bitch.
Oh.
Do I have to say that every time? No, I thought that was just a nice way of saying write it down and watch it, bitch.
I'll start taking notes then, I guess.
Here, start with the KFC one.
Okay.
You got to go listen back to every episode because there's been a lot of them that Jay's asked you
Wood
to keep
Chipper,
tabs on.
We've got Mummified Brothers. Shit, man.
Yeah, this goes way back.
Oh my god.
I ask about 4 stories a day. Like, can we keep tabs on this one?
I'll put it in a special file now. I guess I'll just not have a social life.
Remember the story about the Christian woman who married the guy and was put in jail with her kid, by the way,
in
like
Sudan.
18-month-old kid.
Yep.
And she was sentenced to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Seems
is
a bit harsh to us.
Seemed a tad harsh. What was the deal? If you denounce the religion and switch religions, that's punishable by death. Yeah. Which is what they were saying. Her father, I guess, was what was the religion?
Muslim, right?
Muslim, yeah. And so by her marrying the Christian guy, I mean, but she's trying to say, hey, my mother was Christian. I never was a Muslim a day in my life. And so anyway, her attorneys went, you remember that story? That was a few months ago. And she's been in jail. I never understood why the kid has to be in jail, but I guess the kids have to be with the mothers when they go to jail in those situations. The kids go with them. She gave birth in jail, and that brat was with her too. Why these people live in these places? Why would you even date someone? Like, go to America or something where you can actually do something to be free. Like, these people that get stoned to death by their own family. Like, why would you even stick around in a situation to let that? But
it's neither here nor there.
It isn't. It really isn't. It's another world entirely. But anyway, so her attorneys argued what we were talking about. That, hey, she was always a Catholic. She was never a Muslim, and won. Now, usually when these things get overturned and they let them out of jail or they don't put them to death, it's because they end up going, okay, I'm a Muslim, and they walk away from whatever religion they were. But she refused to do that, which is why we ended up hearing about it here and everything. Well, she was freed from a jail the other day, earlier this week, and on her way to the airport, she's going to the airport, and everybody was saying that, just get the fuck out of that country. Well, her, the husband, and both kids were all arrested again and detained. Miriam Ibrahim held Tuesday along with her 2 children and her husband at the international airport at Khartoum. They did not elaborate. Security officials would not respond to requests for comment.
What the fuck?
I know. I think this girl I think this story has played out like this many times before, where she's run into issues and they've said, "Oh yeah, we'll free her," and then they arrest her again. Because when I was reading up on this, I kept reading comments from people going, "Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it," because the story was that, hey, she's being freed.
Yeah.
She's being freed. And people kept coming back with comments like, "Yeah, we've heard that from them before, that she's being freed. I'll believe it when her ass is out of that country." And sure enough, less than 24 hours later, what do you know? Her, the husband, and 2 kids have been detained at the airport trying to get the fuck out of there.
Apparently convinced some group that they ought to let her out, but some other group within the country said no.
Yeah.
It's just, where are you living, man?
Yeah, it's tough, but there was so much pressure.
Yeah, internationally.
Yeah, it got international press, and there was probably a lot. They were probably feeling the heat, which is why they let her go. It'll be interesting to see if they give an answer for why she and the kids and husband have been detained now. And
yeah, maybe she just forgot something in jail. They wanted to return it to her.
Probably.
Maybe they ran a stop sign. I don't know. Who
Let's
knows?
give them the benefit of the doubt and say that.
The Sudanese.
Yeah, the Sudanese. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
They're good people in general.
Yeah. We don't
I think they deserve that.
They've earned that right, have they not? I mean, they freed her, for God's sake. Yeah. What else do they need to do?
Jeez.
Can we keep tabs on this one, Eric?
Okay.
Find out.
I mean, put it on the list, bitch.
And I'm going to warn you right now, Eric. There's another story coming where we're going to need to keep tabs on it. Yeah, and it's this one here with this apparently this boy, and I smell something off here too as well. Call me skeptical, but a boy born with a 7-inch tail is worshipped as a god.
Well,
this stinks of bullshit to me.
We see a picture. There's a picture of a 7-inch little weenie-looking thing coming out of his back. What more do you need, Mike?
I know, true. And God knows there's no way you could superimpose a tail in there at all. And there's,
It'd take Timco months to even come close to that.
Good luck with it, too.
This is real, man.
It's kind of a badass watch the kid's got, too.
God.
I mean, not to take away from the tail and all. That's kind of cool,
he's reaching back and lifting up his wife beater so that we can all see the 7-inch little schmedge coming out of there. What the dude? That is just. I've always said, Mike, you know this, going back many years, I've always said it would be cool that if we had tails.
I totally remember you saying
after
that.
Seeing this picture of a little kid with a 7-inch little thing coming out of his back, I'm not so sure.
Well, would it matter if it wagged?
That would add a point of interest. I think that'd be interesting.
If you married Gab, right?
Yeah.
When you guys got married, because it's not like you guys would have had relations, inappropriate relations.
Absolutely not.
Before your wedding, right? So say Gab had a tail, and it was 7 inches long. Okay, if we take the tail off,
I'm with you. I follow you.
And you guys, go to consummate the marriage for the very first time, like you did after your wedding,
right?
When you found the tail, would you be like, oh, that's awesome? Would you maybe even play with it a bit, go down on it perhaps? I'm just saying in the moment.
Mike, I was going to go there, but have I yet to find out that she's my sister too? Or is that not part of the fact pattern?
How about we take the sister off?
Okay, she's not my sister.
Off the table. She's not your sister at all.
She just has a tail.
She just got a tail. She hasn't mentioned it, whether she forgot, whatever. It's not gonna prevent her from having kids or anything. Would that be a deal breaker in any way, or would it be like kind of cool?
Yeah, that would not be a deal breaker.
It wouldn't.
It would be very odd and strange, but yeah, I think you'd have to make do, Mike.
Okay, that's good to know. So when they said through sickness and in health, through good and bad, whatever that horseshit is, they say
whether you actually have a tail
you're
or
in.
not. Yeah.
You're all in.
I'm all in.
Sure, you're not going to definitely lose your nut now after Gab here says first she hears your nuts for sale and then this.
I know.
Okay.
She's going to listen to that and yeah.
Would you want it to be able to wag?
Yes.
I don't know if this kid's wags.
I always pictured if humans were to have tails that they would be longer, that they would be more utilitarian.
Like a whip?
I pictured that you could use it for balance.
Yeah.
You know, like a kangaroo tail. I believe kangaroos use them primarily for balance.
Well, kangaroos are like an extension of their spine. They're
they're
huge
pretty thick and
wide. They can like sit on it, lean back,
This is
like they got a
definitely verging
recliner
on
chair.
That's definitely verging on science, by the way. Here, how
Well,
much you're thinking about it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or evolution. Yeah, it all falls into that science category. God, that's fucking gross.
No, that's real, man.
It needs to be lower too. Whoever did this, whoever taped this onto him, put it in the wrong spot. You know, it's too high up and to the left. They should have centered it and put it down by the right above the crack.
This is one little piece of science that I would like to know from a doctor or whatever. Like, what the fuck is that? You know, like, what is that actually growing out of his
like
back?
A finger or something.
Part of his, just a misdeveloped spinal cord or I don't know. Who knows what the hell that is?
Well, I think when you talk about if we had tails, you would think they'd be longer or whatnot. See, I think that they would be like dogs.
You're picturing
and different
more like a
breeds.
boxer.
Well, no, different breeds. Some have long tails. Some have stump tails. Some have fat tails. I call them whips, like Monster's whip. I always yell at her for hitting me with her whip. This guy, of course, anytime you get out of the country, it's some god thing. It's like, oh God. So people are treating this kid as if he's some sort of god.
Yeah, some Hindu god apparently inspired this, and so they made his house into a shrine, and people are going there and worshiping this little monkey dude.
His name is Arshid Ali Khan. He's 13. He's considering having it removed. That's fucking gross. It looks like he needs to be circumcised. That tail needs to be circed. I think it's a dick coming off.
We've not mentioned all the hair around it yet.
I just noticed that.
Okay.
It's disgusting. And he's kind of smug about it, too. Look at him. He looks cocky. Literally, he looks like he thinks he's hot shit because he's got a tail and I don't.
Yeah.
Like, fuck him and his tail. I don't care that he's got a tail. But he's considering having it removed despite being worshipped as a god. He may lose the growth even though it made him a divine symbol in India. The teen who is bound to a wheelchair. Oh, that's so gross. Why is he bound to a wheelchair? God in a wheelchair?
Right,
Why would God be in a wheelchair? Has been hailed by locals as an incarnation of the Hindu monkey god Hanuman.
See, there you go.
Yeah, and they refer to him as Balaji. He said, "This tail has been given to me by God. I am worshipped because I pray to God, and the wishes of people come true. I feel neither good or bad about having a tail.
But yet I'm going to have it removed."
Yeah.
This kid is just
doesn't make
talking out of
sense.
both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how he's squeezing this thing right here.
It's disgusting.
It is.
If I see him, I'm gonna yank it off him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull on his tail. You think he turns and bites like a dog if you yank on his tail?
It's so gross, dude. You see it up front or up close. It's just
Yeah. No,
but the way
gross.
that
it looks like an uncirced dick that needs to be circed.
But look at the way he's squeezing it. What would you liken that to?
It looks like after you've finished coming and your dick goes limp and you can still kind of squeeze some nut out the end.
He's really squeezing it, man.
Yeah, it's like a toothpaste tube at the end of the thing. You're trying to get the final little thing of toothpaste out of it.
Oh, that's gross.
A little bit? Nothing? You don't think? What do you think it is?
I don't know, man. It looks like it has a really strange consistency. The way he's
spongy.
It almost looks like those laboratory tubes like that would fit to a Bunsen burner. It's kind of that consistency of that rubber tube.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gross. Look at it, Mike. Oh, he's got a video of it.
He needs to do some manscaping, that's for sure, because that hair is gross.
Look at that thing. Look at it just wagging.
It's a dong, dude. It's a dong, and it's got pubes.
Yeah. Has anybody just asked him, is this a dong?
Does it? I bet he could blow a load with it. Has he ever touched it and it gotten hard?
Let me guess. It leaks too. Hey, it leaks.
It spits.
This tail of mine.
Oh, that's
a tail,
so
dude.
gross.
It's a dong on your back.
People are coming to him that can't have kids, and they like jack his tail off, and they're like, "Oh, now we can have kids."
Amazing.
Oh, it's so gross. I still want to find out if he loses the tail, and if so, is it for sale?
Put it on your list, bitch.
Is the tail for sale, Eric?
I don't know. I'll get on the bottom of it.
To go along with Jay's ball?
God,
Yeah, my ball is still for sale.
I have 3 things today that I have to keep track
I stand
of.
by it.
That's
30K. 30K.
Let's hold that. We got a fucking motor, man. We've been going forever. So, but I did want to mention the World Cup going on, and we don't play again until Thursday. but they're setting records with the viewership. I don't know if you knew that. They're getting great ratings. Most watched soccer game in U.S. history. ESPN announced this week that its telecast of the game averaged 18.2 million viewers. Previous high for a soccer game was in '99, when almost 18 million watched the U.S. women win the '99 World Cup at the Rose Bowl. Viewership Sunday peaked at nearly 23 million during the final minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
Oh, they're gonna have a smaller audience on Thursday, given that it's at noon.
Well,
yeah.
That other one was Sunday at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it will.
But if they make it to this one, if they make on to the next one.
Yeah, knockout rounds.
Well, with TiVo changes things because people will set their recorders and TiVo it if they're stuck at work for some reason. But I think they have to watch it within 24 or 48 hours to get credit for those.
That'd
something
be a
like that.
rough bubble to go into, to not, you know what I mean, to record that and kind of ears closed all day. Nowadays with texting and everything.
Timko, you ready on the audio there from I don't know if you guys saw this, Costa Rica versus Italy. Did you watch that game by chance?
Costa Rica versus Italy?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Uruguay?
Costa Rica and Italy is what I have.
Okay, go ahead.
No, this is
one of the things we talked about, Tommy.
The announcers are JP Della Camara and Tommy Smythe.
Yeah.
You know Tommy?
Yeah. Irish guy.
Yeah, the Irish guy. Well, he used some old Irish phrase while providing color commentary during the game. He was talking about the lackluster performance of Pirlo, Andrea Pirlo, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I don't know if you heard this, but
no, I haven't.
Check it out.
One of the things we talked about, Tommy, in the first half of play, as we see Italy getting ready to bring on Cassano, is Pirlo was not as involved. He got involved late in the first half. How about this? 36 touches in the first half. He had double, 72 in the first half versus England.
Yeah, and it was very noticeable. I mean, you could see it without even counting passes. You could notice that he just didn't have that. He didn't have that little bit of jizz in him today.
A little bit of what?
Jizz.
Oh, okay. Thiago Motta is going to be coming out.
The other guy calls him out, makes him repeat it.
And just in case you're wondering, in Ireland, jizz means you have no step on you. You have no little bit of get up and go.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, well, it seems to have
I had no idea.
It confused a lot of people. I just wanted them to know.
I had no idea.
Okay.
Wow, they handled that well.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Did have that little bit of extra jizz in him.
Jizz.
It's like, what? What did he just say?
They asked somebody, yeah, jizz.
I know, he asked him again.
What? Jizz. I wish I'd edited that to a shorter version. I'd play it for again, just to hear him say jizz. I want to clarify. Some people were kind of confused as I said jizz. He didn't have that jizz. Not to be confused with jizz coming out of your cock tip.
Right, it would have been awesome if he explained what they were clarifying. Like, what are we confusing it for?
No, there are two kinds of jizz. One comes out of your cock tip. The other is some lackluster performance like this shit Dick had going. He didn't have his jizz going today.
A little bit of what?
Jizz.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Not to be confused with some guy blows a load of jizz all over some slut's back. Not that kind of jizz, folks. Get your head out of the gutter.
In Ireland, jizz means you have no step on you. You have no little bit of get up and go.
Well,
now in America, it means jizzing on some chick's back. That's what you do with jizz in America. But I'm from Ireland. In Ireland, jizz means some shit performance like Pirlo gave over there. He's got no jizz.
No jizz.
After the game, he'll reload and jizz all over some whore in America's back.
I'm going to start saying that when I get down. You know, we got energy again. I'm running out of jizz today.
Come on, Eric. Where's your jizz, man?
Maybe
got
tomorrow.
No jizz in your step today, son.
I promise I'll bring more jizz tomorrow, guys. To the show. Bring jizz all over the show tomorrow.
Now, speaking of Italy, Uruguay knocked mighty Italy out of the World Cup with a 1-0 victory. But that's not really the story. Unfortunately, the story is Suarez.
Yeah, this is where I thought you were going with Italy.
Yeah. Luis Suarez,
great player for Liverpool in the English Premier League.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're familiar with this kind of thing. And this, Eric, please.
Okay. I bet.
Jesus, he's louder over there talking to Jay than he is when he's on the microphone.
Yeah. 13 years of experience.
He actually, believe it or not, bit a guy.
Not only did he bite a guy today or yesterday, but he has done this in the past. He's been suspended on 2 prior occasions. He's known as a guy who bites people, and he did it again in the World Cup.
What the?
Isn't that weird?
That is mental.
And the dude is.
Is that what you guys were yelling about earlier?
Yeah.
When you were freaking out, you and Eric were talking. Did Eric? Is that when he told you about it?
Wait, this happened again? You're telling me this happened? again?
Yeah. Okay. And we watched the video, and of course he bites the guy and then acts like he got hit in the face.
Yeah. Falls on the ground. Holding his mouth.
So what do you think?
He'll get suspended.
For obviously his priors will come into play.
Yeah, it's a good question though. I mean, they're moving on to the next round, and so you throw him out of the tournament. Do you throw him out of the? I don't know.
I would think so. How good is he?
He's awesome.
Really?
Yeah, he's awesome.
Wow. That's incredible. And then Eric had pictures pulled up. You can literally see the teeth marks in this guy's shoulder.
These buck teeth too. He's
I haven't seen it.
He's a weird looking dude a little bit. Looks like a normal guy until he opens his mouth and his teeth kind of go buck. But he has done this in the past. He gets pissed and he thanks for pulling it up, Eric. When we talked like 10 minutes ago, hey Eric, pull up the priors.
No, I know.
He's looking over at Jay's. Well, Jay's doing it.
No, look at everybody's got pictures of him with blood coming out of his mouth and fangs like he's a vampire.
This is
and a clash inside the penalty area involving Chiellini.
Are they going to zoom in for us?
It's also left his Uruguayan opponent Suarez clutching his face.
This Italian guy's going, dude, he bit me.
Fucking bit me.
Here he is again. Into the box. There's the first shot.
That's so weird. Like that's his go-to thing.
Did the announcers call him out here?
Have a look.
Oh,
it looks to me, dare I say it, that he's had a little bite at Chiellini. Surely not again.
Dare I say it?
Surely not again.
See? He's got a history of this. Instead of like punching somebody, that's what he does.
What are his teammates gonna like? I would think when you think his teammates would go, "You asshole! What are you doing?"
This dude is world class too.
Look at him.
This is no joke.
Ramirez trying to cover it up. He's fine.
Italian guy is pulling down his jersey, showing his shoulder.
Committed that particular crime once in Holland, where he became known quickly as
Oh, look at him covering his teeth, acting like he got hurt.
Against Branislav Ivanovic of Chelsea in an EPL game.
Oh, that is what a piece of shit.
I know. And the other ones are just as bad or worse, where you
really
just see him.
Do you have video of them? Of the other ones?
Yeah, Eric should have them, but no, he doesn't.
Well, the explanation is that we want to put it on that computer so they can see it if they're watching on YouTube, Jay. So.
Well, do you give them to him?
Nice work, Eric.
Yeah, thank you.
Here we go. So watch how obvious this is. Watch this. He's in red.
Oh my God! Look at that guy.
The guy's going, "Oh my God, you're biting me!"
Look at him. Those buck teeth. Yeah.
Look at him. Ah!
Oh, what an asshole!
It's unreal, dude.
Is there some mental thing that people that do that, like it's like Tyson, obviously with Holyfield? Is that the other one, or is that? So it's just those 2 times?
No, there's another time. There's a prior time.
Wow.
I found the first one.
This one here's got like his top 5 things that he's done, so maybe we can pick up some stuff in here.
These are just. That's the other one.
No, he punched him.
This is a club with incredible values.
This is the one we just saw.
There's certainly nobody better than this football club.
Yeah, this is the third one. Am I gonna show it?
Apparently not.
Huh.
I think he's acted like a child, Suarez.
I think it's stupid, and he's acted really silly.
Look at his teeth. Look at his teeth.
He shouldn't have been back with 10 again, never mind, right?
Isn't he weird looking?
Yeah. Wow, what an asshole.
Again, man, great player.
That's what's so weird about it, though, that he's so good.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow. And he's that good too. That is the weirdest part. Amazing. Well, it'll be interesting to see what they do.
How they discipline him. They will discipline him.
They have to.
Throw him out of the whole tournament? Probably.
Yeah, at some point, with that many priors, you would think they'd just ban you. Get the hell out of here.
Now, how do you explain that? He's going to say, oh, this guy was, hitting me or something. No.
He literally went and tracked that guy just to bite him and then to act like... I've said it before, but you would think behavior like that would be... It's something you could get away with 20 years ago, where you
don't have 50 camera angles.
Nowadays, it's with the advent of the HD camera, there's nothing you're going to do on the field that's not caught up on camera. Like, he can't possibly think for a second in a World Cup tournament game that you're not going to be seen, not by one camera or two cameras, but by all the cameras. You're just going to be. So it's just... you'd have to be psycho.
Yeah, you lost complete control. How else do you explain it? How can you can you reasonably do that?
It's just weird, man. It's very weird. But well, we should probably wrap it up there. Call it a day. Did we have any? Was there any? I know that tail. Was there any email that we should?
There are two quick Ask Erics. Let's hit him with these real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's hit him with one of them.
Yeah.
My 19-year-old sister died 2 years ago, and this is not a listener, but a listener posing this from a Dear Abby that I think he pulled. My 19-year-old sister died 2 years ago from an overdose. I'm 13. We were very close when we were little, but during the 4 years before she passed away, my parents didn't want us around each other for fear of her rubbing off on me, and she wasn't home half the time anyway. A year earlier, she went to rehab, and I remember talking with her about how she was clean for good, and then she dies. So I'm just so lonely. All my friends have sisters and brothers, and I don't, and I'm bored all the time. My parents work a lot, so I'm home alone at least 3 times a week, and although I've got friends in sports, I'm just really alone. It's awkward going out to dinner or going on vacation because my parents just want to sit and relax, and I want to go out and do things, but it's embarrassing going everywhere with your parents. I miss having her around. So what do you do, Eric?
God, this is I'm gonna sound like an asshole when I say this because your sister died or whatever. Make friends? I don't know, dude. Like, lots of people there's a lot of kids out there that are solo. Only child, dude, and they still make friends somehow and have social lives.
True.
Like, yeah, it sucks that she died at 19. Obviously, a horrible situation.
How old is this girl?
It sounded like she died.
I'm 13.
13 now.
Oh, she's 13 now.
Just start being social. I don't know. Start talking to people. My God, there's Facebook and Twitter. Make some friends.
Do what Eric does.
Yeah.
Get out.
Now that's not from a listener. I
get it if you're 13. I guess it's a little harder if you're going on vacation with your parents. They're not going to quite let you just be going to clubs, I guess, and stuff. But you're still old enough that you can make friends. I know it sucks that your sister died, but you're going to have that the rest of your life. You're going to now not have friends the rest of your life because your sister died.
Very sympathetic to her loss.
Yeah. Well.
His loss.
It happens that we're all going to die, right?
Damn, he's cold-hearted.
Yeah, he's had a rough day.
Got a lot of assignments today.
Yeah.
It doesn't really sound like he's got a lot of jizz over there.
Yeah.
He's running out of jizz.
Definitely. Well, why don't we call it a day there, and but we'll be fired up tomorrow for we'll be full of jizz tomorrow. Oh yeah. For an all-new Thursday edition. Yeah, you better be filled with jizz tomorrow, Eric.
Filled with jizz tomorrow. What about you, Jay?
Dude. Yeah.
He's just trying
to. What?
He's just trying to rebuild his jizz. He's been his tank is almost empty.
I can blow my nose and have this just be done.
Yeah.
I feel like shit. Anyway.
Well, we'll get you out of here, man. And but we'll be back tomorrow, like I said, for a Thursday edition of the Detroit Cast. Send your emails along, thedetroitcast@gmail.com. And, all the usual. Tell someone to listen to the show, and we'll do it again tomorrow. We'll see you there. We'll see you then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit. You know not what remains.
Joseph.